everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka and we are back with another Twitter thread. Today I'm doing another creative writing exercise with my chat, which I'm sure will go very well. So today we're talking about Season 0, the very first thing that every card game YouTuber always wants to tell you upon learning that you play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game is, did you actually know that there was a dark, twisted version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Before they started playing with cardboard? The pre-Duel Monsters Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime was about the spirit of the pharaoh, a person who inhabited Yu-Gi-Moto, and then played these weird, sick, jigsaw-style punishment games with villains and ne'er-do-wells that usually ended in them dying. So today I wanted to ask you, what if he kept that same energy? What if they played an episode of Duel Monsters, decided the game wasn't for them, and then just went back to killing people? What would it look like? Let's see what you all came up with. Dyer says, I want to live in the timeline where the Tamagotchi stuff that he had a punishment game with is popular, and we all take care of our own little Yu-Gi blob. Digital pets have become popular at Domino High School. Kujirata, who believes himself to have the ultimate pet, ends up in conflict with Yugi, his friends, and their pets. At Kujirata's house, Kujirata is woken during the night by his pet, making noise indicating that it needs food. Kujirata mumbles he just fed it 5 minutes ago, he can't sleep like this. He gives the pet food and realizes it is bigger than before. He's impressed by the rate it's growing. Inside the device, the three-dimensional pet says he is tired of eating pet food. He looks at the pet asking if it spoke. He says that's impossible as digital pets can only beep. The pet tells him off for calling him a pet and says, "Fool, you are the one who's a pet." Dustin says it's no secret Kazuki Takahashi loved board games and designing games too. Years ago, he would spitball ideas on his Instagram during his free time. So imagining some of them being part of Season 0 Yami's shadow games, like trapping someone in the 3D Snakes and Ladders Hell dimension. You're going to Mousetrap! Wait, this fucking kicks. See, like, what's the problem with Snakes and Ladders? It's simple. There are no eggs. Oh, this is a Laser Maze. Laser Maze is one of those board games that, like, has since become kind of a classic, but I was just a little too young, or I was a little too old when it first came out to be playing it. Every time I see it in, like, a store, I'm like, oh, man, I hope kids play this. This looks really fucking fun. Weevil steals the Exodia pieces from Yugi, as he does in the show, and in the rematch, Pharaoh would make it so any damage done to his physical cards would be done to him. He'd dip them in a puddle to stimulate waterboarding and make him feel what Exodia felt. So, you like throwing cards into water, do you? Well, let's see how much you like my violation of the Geneva Convention's penalty game. Yami would challenge the owner of the diner to a game of Monopoly after Yugi finds out that Teo is being exploited by the owner. The twist is that every time the diner owner has to pay rent, he loses that money in real life, and Yami drains his bank account. This one's kind of real. And then we all play Yu-Gi-Oh! Themed Monopoly for 22 years. Considering when Yu-Gi-Oh! Was made and his ride, Merrick would get challenged to the most dangerous BMX X Games event of all time, and it would fucking rock. Wait, hold up. I got one for this. Merrick, you will not beat. Fuck! This shit is way out of my league. Yugi would have given a gun to Jaden instead of winged Karibo. Kazuki Takahashi tried 3 different times to make the story about board games, but it never took off. In an alternate universe, after DM, he would make the whole series revolve around Dungeon Dice Monsters after Season 0 or 1. It's so funny that he kept being like, I gotta get out of this fucking cardboard business, man. I just want to play a goddamn tabletop. Dungeon Dice Monsters, Monster World arc, capsule it up. Let's go again someday. To Monster World. No. Probably play some type of Russian roulette game with Bandit Keith, ending up with him cheating and resulting in a penalty game. Always felt like a missed opportunity based on how he goes out. I do like that, like, even in the actual manga proper, they were like, no, these things can fuck you up. The Arcana game is actually one of these. Like, he doesn't set it up, but it's about as close to a penalty game as we get, right? And your legs will be sawed off. It'll be like a game of chicken with magician's acts that get more and more dangerous until the last killing act. After a while, the Pharaoh catches on to Arcana's cheating, and after managing to get out of a rigged trick, he casts an illusion that makes it so the audience throws tomatoes at Arcana for rigging the act. There's no audience in reality, and Arcana is set into the final act where he's unable to escape and dies from it. Boo! Tomato, tomato, tomato! No! Not the tomatoes! Pegasus would have mind-reading powers, and Yami would catch onto the shtick. They'd play Old Maid, and Yami would swap with Yugi, keeping cards face down. The ending would turn Pegasus into a jester, where he would live out real-life cartoon violence. And that is the prelude to the amazing digital circus. I want to see them using yo-yos going crazy like Beyblades like in this scene. What the fuck? The idiots fled to the roof where there's no place to escape. A yo-yo! Bakura as the final boss of the series would be left as is. I guess I'm the only asshole who loves Dark RPG. I think Dark RPG fucking kicks ass. It's like my favorite part of the series. What if instead of card games, the ceremonial duel was done through Millennium puzzle Jenga? Atem and Yugi going back and forth using mind games while slowly removing pieces from the puzzle until it falls apart completely. That's such a good idea. That's like a crazy good idea. What the fuck? I mean, I do like the ceremonial duel. I think it's really good, but that's a really good concept. Raphael is just chess, using the memories of those close to him as the pieces. Round 1, all of Atem's friends are pawns. Round 2, they are the more powerful pieces. Raphael's family is always the more powerful pieces, but in round 1, their faces are covered. Round 2, they're uncovered. This is basically what happens in Orichalcos anyway. It's fun that, like, this concept, the, like, penalty games, it does kind of weasel its way into the actual game. I think you would have made Duke Devlin a Full Metal Alchemist style dog hybrid in return for making Joey wear the dog costume. Come on. So out in the harbor, Yugi and Joey Merrick have chosen one boat as their ship. Each turn they fire a cannon at as many boats in the harbor. If your boat sinks, so do you. If Yugi can sink all the boats but his and Joey's, they both go free. It's Battleship. Another banger idea. You people, you're not bad at this. Weevil would have been devoured by bugs. Mako would have been thrown into the sea. Panic would have been burned alive or swallowed by darkness. Mimic of Doom would lose his identity, not knowing who he was. Para and Dox would be blind in their labyrinth. Para and Dox. Your punishment is racial sensitivity training. Yugi makes it to the modern era. For each chain link you activate, the chains around your arms and legs will move that many times. Catch me like splayed up like the flayed man because I'm playing Tear Lament. Senet is an ancient Egyptian board game. Its rules are mostly lost, and the few we do know are debatable. Atem challenges Merrick and punishes him every time he breaks a rule. The twist is that Merrick's tattoo has the rules, but he's never seen them because of his hatred of the Pharaoh. It's so funny. He's be like, my hatred for you is inscribed on my very body. My back contains all the information I need of your crimes. Merrick, that shit is actually just the rule book for Senet. What the fuck? The point of the transition was that Yugi taught the Pharaoh kindness. In the Duelist manga, Yami was still doing punishment games and shit up through Duelist Kingdom, but he had to be taught to care about other people. Oh, that's kind of cute. I like the concept that he just, I haven't learned shit. A recurring comment that we got here was that a lot of people saying, you know, if he had just kept up this shit, it probably wouldn't have become the phenomenon that it did, which is probably true. But I do like to think that there's an alternate universe where everyone is getting sweaty about Dungeon Dice Monsters in 2024. See you next time, everybody. The series finale would see Yami challenge some guy named Joe to the ultimate shadow game. Read the name of this card live on stream. Ah!